Stitch number 14 on the Pfaff Ambition 620 is a blind hem stitch. I'm going to show you how to fold the fabric correctly and which foot you should be using. So when you touch the eye on the machine, it will bring up that it needs foot number 3. Now we use foot number 3 that comes with this machine quite often. And each time you use it, you will probably be adjusting this little red marker to the left or to the right based on your technique. So when we were doing overlock stitching, I like to move it so it lines up with that little pin inside it. But for a blind hem, we're going to adjust it slightly different, and I want to show you how. When you slide the foot on, you're going to notice that the needle is actually hanging out on the right-hand side. Now that's important because when we get this set up, we're going to need to have it be on the left side. So first off, let's say you are hemming up a pair of pants or a skirt. Or curtains. I mean, there's a lot of places we use blind hems. So if you've ever done that little stitch by hand, this is going to be, well, 10 times faster. So first, fold up the hem, press that into place. Next, you're going to fold the fabric back until you expose 1/4 of an inch or 1/2 inch on the back side. This little edge, what we want is the needle to catch just the smallest little bite into that fold. But we're going to need to see where the stitch actually goes and then move that marker to match the fabric. If you have a thicker fabric, you will move it one amount. If you have a thinner fabric, you'll be moving it based on the thinner fabric. I mentioned this stitch starts on the right. So here's what we're going to do. You can turn it by hand or even do a needle down, needle up. But you need to go ahead and take one full stitch until that needle jumps to the left, because this is where we're going to set it to find where that marker on the foot needs to be adjusted. So you see how the needle is coming down, and you can kind of see through the foot where that fold is. Lift up the fabric, move the project left or right until you can see that if you drop that needle into the fold, it's just going to catch the smallest amount. You could even bring the needle down slightly in the fabric and then go ahead and twist this. Now if this is hard to twist, you can lift the foot up with the needle holding it in place and move it a little bit easier. See how we're bringing that little red marker to the fabric fold? And once you have it set, now we have the perfect alignment for the rest of the seam. So as it stitches, just keep the little fold right here. This is what you're watching. Keep it hugged up against that little guide and let the machine do the rest. Now, if you've never done this before, let me show you what you're looking for and if you needed to make an adjustment, which way to go. So you see the stitches all the way down and it barely caught in it. I mean, when we say barely, I meant barely. So you can see the little tiny bite. And of course, if I had cream colored thread, you would not see it at all. Now I do see that I don't see as much of the stitching right here, and that is because I didn't keep it as hugged up against that placement while I stitch. So that is one thing, either have it not be so close that you might miss it, maybe take a little bigger bite. Trust me, if these were a little bit bigger and you could see them, but the thread matches, it will not be a problem. Now I could just take a few extra stitches in there. But when you're sitting right in front of the machine, you would have kept that fabric nicely hugged. This is what you're looking for. I love that they're great, nicely spaced on the fabric, and I didn't adjust anything on the machine. No, I didn't really have to adjust stitch length or width. I could if I want. It's all in how you adjust the foot.